Hey guys, it's Alina and I'm doing a video! Wow, look at that! Me actually committing and doing something. So I decided to do this video on something that has taken over my life recently by the simple four-letter word of Glee. Maybe you've heard of it. It's like one of the most popular TV shows of all time. Maybe you've heard of it. Yeah, so I apparently have been living under a rock for the past 6 years or so, and before 20 days ago, I had never watched Glee. Actually, that's kind of a lie. I mean, I technically used to watch Glee. In 5th grade, I watched like 3 episodes and I didn't like it because I was in 5th grade, and you can't watch a show like that and appreciate it for what it is when you're in 5th grade. So anyways, 20 days ago, I was sitting on my computer and I decided, for some spontaneous reason, I'm gonna start watching Glee. No, zero reason. Like, it wasn't even on my list of, like, the loads of TV shows and movies that I actually want to commit myself to watch. I just decided to spontaneously watch Glee. And let me just say, I am so glad that I did. So I literally, when I say 20 days ago, I legit mean 20. I finished all 6 seasons in 20 days. I was watching, like, at least 5 episodes a day. I was actually addicted to it. Like, that's why I'm here today, and I created this Glee Tag, and I tag everyone watching this who has seen Glee and is in the Glee fandom, because I just felt like I needed to do this because I needed to just get out all my emotions, and, like, what better way to do that than with a bunch of random pointless questions in a tag form? Let's do this! Yeah! So, the first question on this list is my favorite character, and my favorite character in this show by a landslide is the wonderful, fabulous, adorable Kurt Hummel. You probably saw that coming. I mean, he's kind of my style when it comes to characters that I like, but I absolutely adore Kurt. He's like one of those characters that years from now is like the one thing that I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna be like, remember that show about that weird show choir that had that really great gay character? Yes, like, he was just, I could literally sit here for hours and talk about how much I love Kurt, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I know I'm gonna bring it up like a million trillion times later with all these other questions. So next question. Next are my other favorite characters aside from Kurt, which are Blaine, Santana, Artie, and Brittany. My opinion on favorite singing voices, as in like the characters that I like to hear sing the most, Kurt, frickin' countertenor. Like, he has the rarest male voice type you could possibly have, and I just like his voice. He sings like an angel. And then Blaine and Artie, both of them are just like, their voices are just like they're so dreamy. Like, the only way to describe their singing voices is dreamy. Like, you could just listen to them all day and just like, you cannot be sad while listening to Blaine and Artie sing, because their voices are just so beautiful. Yeah. My favorite season is season 3. I also really like season 2, but ironically that literally happens to me with every single TV show I watch. My favorite seasons are always 2 and 3, and then usually the rest of the show sort of downhills, which was kind of the case with this show, I'm gonna be honest. I'll talk about that later, but season 2 and 3 were definitely their peak point. 3 had the best music, by far. Can you go mow your lawn somewhere else? I'm trying to film a video. Every freaking time. So yeah, ignore that. Someone outside. This is what I have to deal with. Alright, and next is my favorite episode. So my favorite episode, period, is Original Song from season 2. So many emotions with that episode, I just can't. I love that episode so much. Like, the music is great. The character's development is great. What was the regionals episode, wasn't it? Was it regionals or sectionals? It was one of those two. It was great, okay? It was great. And then my favorite episode, honorable mentions, are Dreams Come True, which was the final episode. I genuinely adored that episode. Like, every second of the final episode, I loved it so much. That, my friends, is how you end a TV show, like Ryan Murphy. That is how you end a freaking TV show. Prom Queen from season 2. Emotions, so many emotions. I love that episode, once again. 2009, which was the flashback episode right before the finale episode. I loved that so much, because I thought you got to see, like, so much more about the characters after knowing the characters. It's like, after watching the show for 6 seasons, it's like you go back to the pilot, but you get to see what you didn't get to see in the pilot. And it was so well done, and I thought it was so interesting to, like, and I would never have, like, thought too far into the pilot and be like, oh, how did they do this? And it was very interesting to watch, and it was also really heartwarming to get to go back and see little innocent Kurt and little sassy diva Mercedes and little I'm Rachel and I'm better than all of you, Rachel. It was very nostalgic, even though I watched the whole thing over the span of 20 days. But yeah. Also Choke, which was the episode where Kurt and Rachel auditioned for Nyada, and then New York, which is the episode, I'm pretty sure that was I was in season 5. It was when, Blaine and Sam moved to New York. I really liked that episode too. Okay, my favorite themed episode, Michael! Oh my god, I was waiting for a Michael Jackson episode. I had no idea there was a Michael Jackson episode, but I was waiting for it. The execution was so good! I loved that episode so much. It was so well done. The music was stunning and beautiful, and when we get to the songs later, I'll talk more about that. But Michael. And then my favorite themed episode, honorable mentions, are Love, 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 which was the first Beatles episode. Applause, and Theatricality, which was the Gaga episode, which I've seen, like, multiple times now, simply because Kurt and Gaga heels. So perfect! And then Idina Menzel was in that one, and she and Rachel did Poker Face, and, like, that duet was so good. And, yes. The funniest episode, Puppet Master, I'm pretty sure that was season 5. Oh my god, I could not stop laughing watching that. Like, it was so pointless, so stupid, so unrelated with everything else going on in the plot. But it made me laugh. And that's all that mattered. It was so funny. I don't know what the hell was going on in the writer's head when they were writing that episode. But it was so good. It was so good. Next, you probably figured this out by now by my favorite episode choice and my favorite character choice. Obviously, my favorite ship is Klaine. I'm going through, like, a Spoby phase with Klaine, where I'm just, like, my entire world is just revolving around them right now, and honestly, I think I was more attached to them and more worried for them than I was worried for Spoby when I was watching Pretty Little Liars. Because it's like, I was genuinely depressed. Like, actually legit depressed in season 4 and 5B. Because of all that was, like, I was actually really sad throughout the days where I was watching those seasons, because I just couldn't, they're so perfect for each other, and Chris Colfer and Darren Chris's chemistry, and I love them so much. I love them so much. They're in my top 5 of, like, favorite fictional couples of all time. Next is getting onto the songs. My favorite solo. My favorite solo in the entire show, I didn't even have to think twice about this, was Not the Boy Next Door, which was Kurt's first Nyada audition. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I did not know the song when he first performed this. I just felt so proud of him, and I could not stop smiling throughout the entire time that he did this number, because that number is Kurt Hummel. Like, he did such a great job, and I was so happy, and it's like, that is by far, and like, that note at the end, and like the range of his frickin' countertenor angel voice, that's my favorite song in the entire thing. Then for my solo honorable mentions, I have a lot of honorable mentions for the songs, because I mean, when there are 631 songs in the entire show, it's kind of hard to pick favorites. Nevertheless, one favorite. So my honorable mentions for the solos, I Have Nothing, which was from the Whitney Houston episode, once again a Kurt solo. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous Chris Colfer angel voice. Perfect. And apparently that was the hardest song that he had to do throughout the course of the show, so I applaud you. Being Alive, which was also a Kurt solo. That was his second Nyada audition. That was another one where I was just like, in tears, just like sitting there on my bed, like not even able to even, because he's just the epitome of perfection, and I just can't even. It's Not Unusual, which was Blaine's solo when he transferred to McKinley. It was such a fun, awesome number. The best numbers are the Klain numbers and the numbers that happen in the bleacher courtyard area. Like, let's be honest here. Totally true fact. So It's Not Unusual. That's like my song that like I just randomly dance to when I'm alone in the house, because it's just so upbeat and fun and party. And then last honorable mention is Santana's rendition of Don't Rain on My Parade, which was when she was auditioning for Rachel's understudy for Funny Girl. I was, like, so shocked by how good that version was. Like, she gave it such, like, a pop remix, whereas, like, Rachel had it, like, very Broadway. I really loved what she did with it, and Santana. Naya Rivera just has a gorgeous voice, period. So, great. Next is my favorite duet, which was, once again, like the solo, this was by a landslide, not even up for debate. Come What May, which was one of the Klain dream sequences from season 4. Like, you guys just don't understand, like, how like, that's literally, you can make me cry in 10 seconds flat by playing that song. So Moulin Rouge is one of my favorite movies, period. Come What May is my favorite song from that movie, period. Klain is my favorite ship from Glee, period. All three of those things together equals me actually sobbing. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I was, like, tears. Mom was wondering what the hell was wrong with me. It was so perfect. And especially considering the situation that they put it in when everything else about Klain was just so messed up. To get to see that beautiful moment, I'm, like, way too attached to these songs, guys. I'm way too attached to this show, period. Like, what am I turning into? So my honorable mentions for the duets, I have a lot, because I really love Glee's duets. They always do such a good job with duets. So, there are a lot of Kurt and Blaine ones, okay? I'm sorry. They have the best duets. Like, it's a fact. Kurt and Blaine get the best songs. Period. It's just true. It's true. So Perfect, which was the one that they sang to Santana when she was coming out. I think it was in I Kissed a Girl, which was a Pink song. Great. They did a beautiful, beautiful cover of it. For Good, which was Rachel and Kurt in the New York episode when they went for nationals and they were in the Broadway theater singing. I need a full version of Wicked with Lea Michele and Chris Colfer. Like, that needs to happen. And Smile, which was very early on, season 1, that was Rachel and Finn. That was a Lily Allen song. I actually remember, I actually had it right here. This my aunt gave to me when I was in 6th grade. It is like a bootleg CD of all the season 1 Glee songs, and I remember out of all of them, that was my favorite, and that was the one I would always listen to when I was, like, getting ready to go to school in the morning. I didn't watch Glee. I just listened to the season 1 soundtrack, so yeah. Then I Dreamed a Dream. Holy crap. This was Rachel and Shelby, which was her birth mother, which was Idina Menzel. And Idina Menzel is my Broadway idol. Like, I worship her. And so seeing her and Lea Michele do I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis, and, like, Lea Michele is literally a junior Idina Menzel. Like, the harmonies and everything about that song was so gorgeous. Like, perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. 4 Minutes, which was from the Madonna episode. That was Mercedes and Kurt, and technically the Cheerios, but it was them singing. I loved that number so much. That was probably my favorite group number from season 1. I really, really enjoyed it. That was my favorite song from the Madonna episode. Smooth Criminal, from the Michael episode, Santana and Sebastian. Holy crap, like, the musical arrangement of the cellos in that one was stunning, and then, like, Naya Rivera and Grant Gustin's voices together, it was so good. I honestly like that one better than the original. I'm sorry, Michael Jackson, I worship you, but it was so good. I Just Can't Stop Loving You, which was also from the Michael episode, which was Rachel and Finn. That was when Rachel accepted Finn's proposal. Beautiful, beautiful, because Rachel and Finn never disappoint with their beautiful Beautiful duets. Then You Make Me Feel So Young from the new New York episode. Once again, a Kurt and Blaine number. I just loved that number. Like, not necessarily the song, but I just thought that was the cutest little choreography session. Like, it was adorable, and I loved it so much, and the Klaine feels were just too much. American Boy, another Kurt and Blaine. That was when Blaine got to do that like fancy Broadway showcase thing, and then like his mentor was like, "No, I don't like Kurt." How could you say no to that face? He's like, "No, I think you're a star and you should do this thing." And then he's like, "You know what? Screw you, bitch. Come up here, fiance. I want you to sing this song with me." And they did such a great job with it, and I loved it. Valerie, which was from the 100th episode, which was Santana and Brittany. I just thought that rendition was great. And Heather Morris and Naira Vera's voices together, again, beautiful. Every freaking song in this show is beautiful, period. Like, it's only word to describe the musical talent of these wonderful actors. And then lastly, Gotta Get You Into My Life, which was another Klaine number, which was from the Love, 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 the first Beatles episode. It was such a good number. Like, that one is probably my second favorite Klaine number after Come What May. Yeah, that was such a good number. It was just so happy and sassy and upbeat, and their outfits were perfect. And that kiss at the end, I freaking kill me now. They're too much for my small self. Okay, finally moving on. Favorite Christmas special was A Very Glee Christmas, which was the first one. That was genuinely the one that I liked the most. Blaine and Kurt's duet of Baby It's Cold Outside, that is my favorite Christmas song. Once again, they get the best songs. They just coincidentally get the best songs. So yeah, I just thought that was adorable. And it would have been, my favorite Christmas special would have been Extraordinary Merry Christmas if they didn't take out that beautiful Klaine box scene. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up Glee Klaine box scene on YouTube. It's a deleted scene. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just go watch it. You can see it for yourself. That was like the best thing, and they took it out of the episode. It was a great episode. I love that episode. But I just would have loved it a little bit more. A little bit more than A Very Glee Christmas if they had it in there. My favorite Valentine's Day special was Heart, which was, I'm pretty sure that was season 3. That was the one where, like, Blaine finally recovered from his frickin' eye injury, because frickin' Sebastian. And then they came and they had, like, and Sugar had that party, and they were all singing Love Shack. It was... Yes, yes, yes. My mom was actually watching that episode with me. And I remember just, like, having a temporary heart attack when they started singing Love Shack. And then she was, like, singing along to it. I'm like, no, shh, let me listen to Klaine. I'm like, don't block out Darren and Chris, please. And she probably thought I was insane. That's why I stopped watching it in the living room and I just started watching it with headphones in my room, because I just have too many emotional reactions to this show. Then my favorite mashup was surprisingly Boys/Boyfriend, which was the Justin Bieber Britney Spears mashup that Artie and Blaine did. I just loved it so much. I'm not a fan of either of those artists or either of those songs, honestly. But together, it sounded so good. Another example of this was the NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys one that Mr. Shu and Finn did. I loved that so much, even though I'm not a fan of either of those bands. So my favorite New Directions group number was the 100th episode, Don't Stop Believing. That was another one where I was just like sitting there on my computer screen, just staring at it with like tears just slowly dripping down my face because I didn't have the ability to even because the feels were just too much. And the fact that Leah took Corey's part in that song made me very emotional. And then Chris was using his low voice. And when Chris uses his low voice, he causes a riot. Like, let's be honest here. It's so perfect. Everything about him is perfect. Honestly. My group number honorable mentions were Take On Me, which I'm pretty sure was season 5. I didn't necessarily like that song, but like visually what they did with that was so cool. That was the one where they had like all like the pencil drawings, like Artie's storyboards, and they were like jumping through them, and like they would become like sketches, and they would be like in real life. And then I just felt like the staging for that was really great. The Scientist, which was in the season 4 breakup episode, I love that song. I love Coldplay. And that was one literally every single couple broke up in that episode. It was such a depressing episode. And then that song to pile on top of it, another one where I was just like sobbing, but the harmonies were just so beautiful that do you see my struggle and my dilemma? You don't understand. Man in the Mirror, which was one of the, I'm pretty sure it was a sectionals performance. It was sectionals or regionals. When New Directions did Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson, great. All the guys slayed that number. And then Don't Dream It's Over, which was actually a Glee Club 2.0 number. That was my favorite song that Corey's character, Finn, sang in the entire show. And so, like, that's, like, another one, like, Come What May, where I just get, like, really emotional whenever I hear it, because it's, like, rest in peace, Corey, we love you. We love you so much. It's almost the 3-year anniversary of when he died, so rest in peace. Then my favorite Warblers group number, because the Warblers just have to be, like, classified differently from the New Directions, because they're just both, like, I just can't choose. There are just too many good numbers. I just can't. So my favorite Warblers group number was Something Only We Know, which was the one when Kurt transferred from Dalton back to McKinley, and then Blaine came with all the Warblers and sang that really romantic song, and then he, like, gave him a hug, and then Kurt's like, I'm never saying goodbye to you, and, like, the entire fandom just burst into tears. I mean, it's simple as that. And then my honorable mentions are Misery from Original Song, which is the Maroon 5 song. Silly Love Songs, which was from the first Valentine's Day episode. Paul McCartney. I loved their version of that song. It was so good. And then When I Get You Alone, which was the one that they sang when Blaine went to the Gap with the Warblers to try to serenade that guy. And, like, honestly, like, that scene was really funny, but the background vocals in that song were so good. Like, the background vocals were exceptional in that song, and that's why I put it on my list of honorable mentions. Then my favorite vocal adrenaline group number was definitely Bohemian Rhapsody. That was, like, honestly the only, I'm pretty sure that's the only vocal adrenaline number that I actually downloaded onto my phone. But, yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, they did such a great job with it. Because, like, to the point where I showed it to my friend, and she's like, see, if you hadn't told me this was from Glee, I genuinely would have thought this is the original one. Like, honestly, the only difference is that Jesse's voice sounds slightly different than the regular Queen version. But, I mean, it was such a good rendition. Okay, then New Directions or the Warblers. Once a Warbler, always a Warbler. I mean, what can I say? I'm sorry, Warblers. I'm sorry. I mean, what's better than a bunch of really hot gay guys in navy blazers singing Katy Perry? Honestly. Then Glee Club 2.0, or Glee Club 3.0. Obviously Glee Club, but I just sort of, like, the first one was obviously the best, but the third one was my second favorite. I know that's a really unpopular opinion, but I absolutely hated the season 4 Glee Club. Like, I bet I'm gonna get shunned by a lot of people for saying that. But, like, every member in that Glee Club, minus Kitty, who was also in the third one, I really didn't like. And whereas in the third one, I loved Myron, who was, you know, like the 12-year-old. I loved Kitty, because she came back. And then the twins, Mason and Madison, I thought they were really funny. Whereas, like, the 2.0 Glee Club, every single member in there just bothered me for a completely different reason. So, I didn't like them at all. And, like, for the season 4, I wish they'd stuck more to the New York stuff. Then they sort of made up for it in season 5 by doing all New York stuff. And so it all balanced out, but you know what I'm saying. Next are my favorite plot lines, just sort of like random ideas that they sort of use that I really appreciated and liked. Idina Menzel being Rachel's mom, like, that was genius, because Lea Michele has the same voice type as Idina Menzel. I thought that was great. It was just an excuse to use Idina Menzel, who is a singing goddess in this world, so I applaud thee. Bringing Blaine into the show in the first place was flat out genius. That was the best idea they ever had. Like, Kurt deserved to be happy, and he was, because at the end of the end was so good to this show. I mean, the end was so good. So good. Kurt working for Vogue, even though it didn't last very long, I loved the idea of Kurt working for Vogue. Like, I just thought that was the greatest thing ever, and I wish he had stayed there a little longer before, like, fully committing to Nyada, but it was, well, the time that he spent there was great. And then the New York plotline, and, like, like I said before, I really liked how they focused a lot more. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of season 5 was in New York. And, like, I liked seeing that, because it was kind of like you were watching a different show with the same characters, and it was really interesting to see something outside of the Glee Club, because it's like, by the end of season 4, I was kind of sick of the Glee Club, and, like, just sort of tired of them, like, oh, are we gonna win sectionals, are we gonna lose sectionals, are we gonna win regionals, are we gonna lose regionals, are we gonna win nationals, are we gonna lose nationals, and it was just sort of the same old every season until season 5, when they did something different, and they went to New York, and I thought that was great. And so then, this is also an unpopular opinion, especially coming from a Claner. I really liked the double wedding. And I don't even ship Britannia. Like, I just thought that was so sweet and cute and, like, so spontaneous. Yeah, it just all worked out perfectly. And, I mean, sure, I would have loved to see an entire episode devoted just to a Clane wedding, but the way that they did it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was adorable. It was great. I don't know what people are complaining about. Okay, my favorite guest star. This is so easy for me, because it's like I had a different one throughout the entire show, and then this person showed up for one episode and I flipped tables. Kristen Schaal. If you know me at all, you know that I'm a big Gravity Falls fan. So when Kristen Schaal showed up, I nearly had a heart attack, because she is literally my favorite voice actress of all time. Tara Strong is a close second, but Kristen Schaal, I adore her so much. I'm pretty sure I've seen every single thing that she's ever been in. I love her. And so her character was fantastic. Like, I'm so sad that she only got one episode, because her character was so great. And then my favorite guest star honorable mentions, obviously Idina Menzel. Obviously, just gonna say it again. Skylar Austin, another one who's only in one episode. Most of you probably know him as Jesse from Pitch Perfect, but yeah, he was great. Kristen Chenoweth, another wicked Broadway lady with Idina Menzel. I love that we got to have both Glinda and Elphaba on Glee at some point. That was pretty great. Even though I didn't love Kristen Chenoweth's character, I didn't really like April, I just liked hearing Kristen Chenoweth sing, because she has such a unique voice, and like her rendition of Maybe This Time from Cabaret was really, really good. And then Sarah Jessica Parker, which was, my mom was a huge fan of her, actually, but I just thought her character was really great in the few Vogue episodes that they had when Kurt was working there. And my favorite original song from the show, because they had a number of them, actually. My favorite original song was the 100th episode, the acoustic version of Loser Like Me, which was Blaine, Tina, and Artie, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Sam was in it, too. But yeah, I really like that version. I like that version better than the original, even though I like the original, too. The most emotional season for me, coming from a Claner, you probably know this already, season 4. Frick you, Blaine. Like, of course you did. Blaine just had to go and screw everything up, and it's like, I hate that he was a year younger than Kurt, and the fact that they didn't reveal that until later, and you were like, wait, what? And that just sort of screwed up everything. Like, I feel like if he had been a senior with Kurt, then they wouldn't have had as many problems, so maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, just like, Blaine, why? And then character you used to hate but now love. I have 5 of these. Santana, I love her now. Used to not be able to stand her. Sebastian, obviously, Cleaners were out for blood when he first showed up, because bitch. And then, Blader, once he'd sort of, like, gone to the good side again and, like, helped Blaine with his proposal, and I thought, and he's the Flash. Like, you can't hate the Flash. You just can't. He's the Flash. Then, I said this before, Kitty. I really liked Kitty. I used to not like her, because I'm just like, oh, she's just another Quinn. But then I genuinely liked her later. And then also Quinn, although she was sort of an on and off character for me. Like, I would really like her, and then I would hate her, and then I would really like her again. Then I'm like, oh, okay, she's cool. Then I don't really like you very much. But at the end, I liked her. And then same with Sue. She was one that was sort of on and off. Sometimes I thought she was the funniest freaking character on that show, and sometimes I'm just like, leave. You're not necessary here. Season 6, I'm honestly, I thought that, like, Sue being the world's biggest Claner was hilarious. I know so many people were like, oh my god, this is the stupidest thing. Like, why would you, did a 12-year-old write this season? Oh my god, that was so dumb. I didn't even take it seriously. I was just like, this is so funny. And I cannot deny that Sue literally having a storage unit devoted to pictures and videos of Klaine. And the whole Hurt Locker episode, like, I was cracking up. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be laughing, because it wasn't really a super funny situation. I just And like they said, if she hadn't been a freaking Kleiner, maybe they never would have gotten back together. It was all because of Sue. So all the Kleiners should be thanking her. I'm sorry. And then character you used to love, but now hate. Marley. Frickin' Marley. Okay, so Marley had a similar situation with Rachel. She was an underdog. She was this nerd who just wanted to be in this club and sing, and she's a total wallflower, not popular. And then all of a sudden she has all these hot guys fighting over her. And I'm like, what do you think that's doing? What kind of image is that giving the people who watch this show, who are underdogs like her? And they're like, oh, it's like she was such an unpopular character, and then she joins this club, and now all of these hot football players are like, oh, I'm in love with you. And it's like, that's not how it works. Then it's like, then she's not the kind of character that you're imaging her as. And then another one was Becky. Because Becky, I really, really liked her in the first few seasons because she was so cute and she was just there and she was really sweet. And then she got under the wrath of Sue and she just turned into a bitch. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, she was intolerable. Because it's like she was in every single episode. It was the same thing over and over again. And I just got really sick of her. Like, by the end, I could tolerate everybody. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, by the last episode, I liked every single character. But as a whole, Then musicals, I was glad that they featured. Little Shop of Horrors, I was so surprised, because I actually had this on my list of ones that I wish that they had put in, and then season 6 came along, and then Blaine and Rachel did, Suddenly Seymour, which is my favorite song from Little Shop of Horrors. It's actually going to be the fall musical in my school next year. I'm auditioning for Audrey. I'm really excited, because I love that show. So yeah, I loved it. Little Shop of Horrors. It's great. Moulin Rouge, like I said before, favorite musical movie, period. And Cabaret, another big fan of Cabaret, even though that was very briefly touched on in season 1. They still had a couple, Cabaret numbers. And then Wicked. They touched on Wicked a lot. And I really liked what they did with Wicked. Although, I had a question, though, and I don't know if we're ever going to get an answer to this. How does Wicked exist in their universe if Idina Menzel is not Idina Menzel? Like, think about that for a second. Because Idina Menzel was on the show, but she was not Idina Menzel, she was Shelby. Yet, Idina Menzel was the first Elphaba in Wicked. So how was Wicked a thing? Who played Elphaba? Mind blow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Existential crisis. Existential crisis. And then musicals I wish were featured at some point. Matilda, Legally Blonde, The Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast. I get the last two, they probably couldn't do anything with Disney. But Legally Blonde, can I just say, okay, the scene in season 6, when Spencer was trying to get Roderick to, like, become more fit, that was the perfect chance to use Whipped into Shape. Like, that would have been so funny. I totally should have used Whipped into Shape.